How big is this thing? Ah!
This is in honour of our guest.
What is that?
Oh dear.
This is my COVID mask.
The COVID mask.
I thought it was a
From the Shinobi Guild. Hello and welcome to the Electricians Guide to Everything Monday Club. Tonight we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the legend that is Sparky Ninja. Hello, my man, David Watts.
That must have been painful, Sam. That must have been really painful, mate.
Why?
No.
Why?
No? Okay. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Yeah, good as it happens. Yeah, I'm glad you took the offer up. I think it's a real good step. I think it's yeah. Is that coffee this time of night?
Followed by the brew dog. I line them up.
Wait, what's a brew dog?
Come on, you must know what Brewdog is, surely.
My mates drink brew dog. I don't get it. I don't.
Is that a northern thing? Is it a northern thing?
No, it's not a northern thing.
No, it's just a beer.
Ah. Who's drinking? Listen, this is the worst thing, right? I've been
What?
doing Sober October. Every time I come on here, everyone's drinking.
Mate,
Look.
I'm up.
Oh, that's nice. That is. It's lovely.
Oh,
Mark's
the
on the
fir-
vodka.
Yeah, Mark's on the vodka.
Yeah, pint of
vodka?
vodka. Pint of vodka, of course it is.
So, in traditional Monday Club fashion, the whole point of this is to talk about sort of what we've been up to. So, Dave, what have you been up to? What's been going on?
What, last week or today or what?
Yeah. Generally.
Doing my normal shenanigans online, trying to help people out and waiting for someone to tell me to come away from my computer and stop helping people out. Work, training is, for people like me, it's taken a bit of a dive because I do a lot of subcontracting training. So a lot of companies that have me on a contract, they obviously, a lot of classrooms are now much smaller.
Mm.
So they can't really pay the rate of the subcontractor. So they're now getting their actual full-time guys to do the training. So I've had to go around some companies to remind their trainers on the training. Doing some online training. Last week, I did some 7909 training in the evenings. And then on Thursday, I went to, where did I go? I went to Sheffield to, you know Monty, the guy at Arena Training?
Yeah, I don't know him, but I know really training, yeah.
Yeah, Pete Montford. I went down there and I met up with the guys from NET. You know, the guys who do the AM2?
No.
Nice.
The guys who control and manage the AM2 assessment.
Oh, like sort of a governing body.
Kind of thing, part of
Yeah,
ECA, another branch of ECA. But they're the guys that create the standard of the AM2 assessment. They write it, they coordinate it, and they are very strict with it. And people are getting about 37% average pass marks. Everyone's failing it.
Yeah.
So they're trying to create some support mechanisms to help people with the AM2 assessment. And they've asked me to come in and help. So I went down there and did some recording, some video stuff.
Has it got harder then? Has the AM2 got harder?
I would suggest no, because the AM2 no longer requires actual erection of wiring systems.
Is this the AM2S or still the AM2?
AM2, AM2S, and now the
Right.
AM2E. Or is it M?
So when
I'm not sure one.
when I done it, whenever it was 10, 12 years ago, it was you didn't actually have to put in any containment. You just just followed a wiring diagram,
Just
really.
follow. A lot of people still don't do that. A lot of people still don't read the drawing. But no, when in my old time, there was a bench and there was one bit of tube on it, one bit of trunk in on it, and you had to obviously put the tube in with a bubble set. And if you needed more resource, failed. Yeah, you weren't allowed more resource. It's a one.
Yeah,
thing.
that's it.
So bend it, then cut it. You know that kind,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I never done the AM2. I've never done it.
No, they changed it a number of years ago. It's no longer fabricating a wiring system. That is done, however, in a City and Guild qualification. It's halfway down the line, where it's obviously assessed by internal assessors. But it's now more. There's just so much to do. You know, they've got things like SY cable in there as well now, and obviously
Why?
S-band, Y-band. I don't know. I have kind of questioned that myself.
But other people that sort of the companies, are they aware that is sort of seen as a sort of frowned upon amongst real proper electricians? I mean, you get it used in the AC industry and things like that, but
I think because it's a thing, It's a box to tick to inspect. It's like the new thing that they're doing. This skim assessment. This skims. If you're going to go for the mature candidate, there's a list of things you're supposed to look at, and it's called a skim assessment or a skill assessment where you're doing it yourself. And it's in there, SY, as if that's part of an electrician's requirement to be able to perform that. And to be fair, if you were to select that cable type, a lot of people don't know the proper way of glanding it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
Fair. Because you have to get a specific gland and you have to go up both sides, then you do it and you do it in the clockwise direction. There's a specific method. I think Gary put a video on GSH with him terminating it. But I agree, it's frustrating that stuff like that has come in, but things like fabricating a conduit set and all that stuff has come out. But no, the long story is the pass markers in the 30s. They want to try to find ways to make that better. So I had a meeting with them in London just before COVID hit. And I was basically talking about things like, a lot of apprentices aren't really shown the AM2 at the beginning and during the middle of their apprenticeship. It's more a case of go through college, then right at the end, we'll prepare you for a last little exam or a last little practical thing.
But you can do an AM2 refresher course, can't you? It's like 5 days where you basically go in there and do the AM2 for a couple of days. And
I mean, I think that is kind of the problem in that a lot of colleges reverted to doing it that way. And so net was seeing that a lot of companies were trying to help and a lot of learners were relying on that to help them. But they weren't prepared. Yeah. The employers weren't preparing them. And the biggest problem that they're finding is, one, you just mentioned it, Sam, reading the freaking drawing in front of you properly and following it. And the other one, which they're all failing on, is their experience in inspection and testing. Because they just can't develop that in a day. And you can't develop that end point.
Yeah. I'll be really honest with you. When I did my AM2, I don't know how I passed it, to be honest, because I didn't do enough testing and inspecting and testing at college, because you only do the bare minimum. And I was testing social housing, and I've said it before. I said it on the Wheels Electrical podcast, just listened to today, was testing from the van. I would be driving the van. The electrician I was paired up with would be, give us a number between 30 and 50 and 60, and you'd be like 52, and he'd be like, right, okay, that's 52. So that was my experience of testing. I was lunacy.
When I worked with a housing association in Bracknell, the lads would be kicked out of the depot in the morning by 8:30. They go straight down to McDonald's, and the guys doing EICRs or periodics back then would be already filling in the paperwork over the McMuffin in the morning.
Yeah,
they're already filling in the schedule.
Yeah,
because when you work in a place like that, in this district they're all that type, in this district they're all that type. So they're already populating the forms and they're already starting to put in numbers. And to be perfectly honest, if they do it every day in the same districts, they're not far off. Yeah. And that is an issue, is when they can think up numbers and they see that they're not far off, it takes over.
It does. Some of the stuff, when I said it's fresh in my head because I listened to the podcast today with Wills. It's such a bad way to get into. I had such a pony apprenticeship doing that social housing, and there's so many bad habits that you pick up. And once you picked up a bad habit as an apprentice, it's quite hard to shake.
That's the other thing that they say, the AM2, everyone that fails because they bring in bad habits.
This is so common with people who've been getting in touch with me recently, saying how the apprenticeships they're getting on site, they're not really been taught how to do these things. So they're metal munching for a couple of years, and they're not really been having the practical skills you would need in such a wide range demonstrated to them. So they're asking for not just support with getting jobs. You're hearing them ask for things like, where can I find
more than that, though, don't
where can I find some learning to do with AM2? And
they're thinking the next job will be like the last job, and they're not seeing the job being the actual thing that's going to help them along. So they've been doing this with me. They ask me for help, but then they stay around me because I'm the person giving them positive help and advice and support, and they're not getting that in other places, so they keep coming back. And a lot of employers just don't provide it.
So what's the actual... I've always struggled to understand what the point of the AM2 actually is, in terms of what's the goal of the governing bodies to have the AM2? Is it to verify that the MVQ has not been fraudulently obtained?
It's a driving test. Think about your lesson. When you learn to drive, you build up a relationship with your driving instructor. They come to understand how you are, the kind of things that need to repeat and help you understand, but they come to understand you. And that can happen in a training environment. especially when we have small classes these days where you've got a guy who does the instruction and then the assessing. It's really not supposed to happen, because the guy who's going to assess you wants you to succeed.
Of course, yeah.
And that gets in the way. And so it's like the driving test. You've got that person who's completely non-related to you, doesn't know anything about you, hasn't got no relationship with you, and they stick to the form, they stick to the standard. And that's kind of what the AM2 does. It's very protected. You're not allowed to wander around and look at the assessment rigs. The spec is very, very strictly controlled. And the assessors, even in the way it's supposed to work, the assessors in the actual training establishments that do the AM2 assessing are not supposed to actually socialize and integrate with the other trainers. They're not supposed to kind of mingle in case there can be feeding of it. Yeah, there's very strict processes. And I had this chat with the guys last week. Training is, I mean, you guys may know how I feel about training, but the AM2 is kind of, to me, it's like the last shield of protection of a good standard of training. And it's very, very vulnerable to being completely popped and corrupted. But right now, people just aren't getting through it because they're not passing, because they're not prepared for it.
I've got a question for you, Ninja. Now, I'm going to call you Ninja because it's better than calling you Dave or Dave Watts or Mr. Watts or
his parents would strongly disagree with that.
No, I think Ninja's... Well, I'd like to be called Ninja.
Yeah,
Who want to be called Ninja?
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So, what is your opinion on... I've brought this up a few times, on MVQ that you get pre-filled out?
Well, it's not what it's supposed to be. An MVQ is supposed to be a collection of performance evidence. The idea of the MVQ is the assessor, using a method of assessment skills such as observation, instruction, professional discussion. There are many, many different ways, witness testimony. An assessor can actually get assessment and evidence to then help you fill a portfolio. But it's supposed to represent you having performed that skill in the workplace. So being pre-filled, it's pointless.
So for me, my biggest bugbear with it, other than the obvious, is that a lot of the awarding bodies, is that the right term? Like IET, for instance, or, JOB or ECS, whatever you want to call them, even SparkSafe, use the MVQ level 3 as their benchmark.
What else is there?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But
we've had this discussion before, Sam, though.
Where they come from, can't you?
Sorry?
You can check the source. So we know there's certain companies that offer this. And
yeah, they don't go that far, though, will they? That's the problem. They won't go that far to check who's provided the portfolio. And they would then have to go through the whole rigmarole of actually then verifying the way the portfolio was actually filled in. People want to do the best job, but they want to do it the quickest way. Yeah. And the most simplistic way. And when you have all that, you end up getting crap at the end of it. But yeah, there's nothing else. There's nothing else out there.
The only way, Sam, the only real way to combat what you're alluding to is literally for businesses to sign up to a scheme where an assessor could come out unannounced at any time to any job and look at the standards of your work. That's the only way it could ever be flawless, and it's not possible. It's just not possible under health, safety, and all these sort of things. It's just not possible.
It's a bugbear of mine.
Everything is subject to quality assurance, and training is subject to quality assurance. We have internal quality and external. Now, an awarding body in training, City and Guilds, CAL, they are going to periodically come out and do a quality assurance visit, very much like a CPS would do it for an electrician. They're going to tell you the date, the time, and what they would like to sample. And so the training venue can then get that prepared. So, and this is the problem. Yes. And so they know that there is this other process of getting portfolios done, but they won't actually fix it. Right. And so I would point my finger straight at the awarding bodies, and then I'd probably point it further at Ofqual.
I had this conversation with my mum because she's actually an MVQ assessor in the nursing industry.
She's an electrician going through it.
No, she's not. But it's like she's a shit-hot electrician actually. Yeah. No, it's a different industry. But I was asking her if these kind of loopholes exist, because we're saying we can't do anything about it. We can't stop it. We can't change it. People will find a loophole if there's one to be found. And from what she tells me, it doesn't go on in the nursing industry because obviously there's the health implication of people getting terrible healthcare. So it can be regulated in a way. Is what we're saying is we don't have the
somewhere
funding.
it goes on.
Possibly,
nursing,
but we don't have the funding system in place to have the same system that they do. That's just a practicality of our trade.
Yeah. I mean, the nursing industry, like with any kind of NHS kind of industry, they're very on top of CPD. They'll have to regularly submit and contribute CPD. So all of that is quality controlled and audited. We lose complete control of that when we issue a guy a card and we let them off, and we don't retain quality monitoring of the way they perform to that degree. And it's the same with training companies and MVQs.
But it's also fair to say that we sometimes put too much focus onto the training companies, onto these people. The employers have got a large amount of response to bear here by ensuring that the people that they're training, the future of their company and the future of the industry, are properly trained. If they're signing up to the sort of companies that are offering pre-written portfolios, I mean, what a horrendous business model. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Because that's the people that will be earning their money in the future.
A lot of employers don't think the college really helps them at work. They think that the college is just a hindrance because they don't use what they learn at college at work, do they?
Yeah.
So they detach from how important college is to work, and so they just keep take your day off, go to college, then after a year or two, year or three, then get through that, done, and they don't integrate with work enough. And we see employers, large employers, we see Rolls-Royce, we see Airbus and all these companies getting involved in creating apprenticeships and training, but then they become very bespoke to their industries. We don't see bigger industries or bigger employers actually designing our apprenticeships. We see them consult to some degree, but they don't really control it and they don't watch it.
There's a lot
employers should take full part of that.
There's a lot of apprentices who've been in touch through Apprentice One-to-One saying that they don't often see any sort of mentorship on site, so they're just left with other apprentices. They're not getting that supervision from their employers, and they're like crying out for more one-to-one training like I had when I started out in the industry with a sole trader, working solely with them on a day-to-day basis. There's just not a lot of that out there from the way it seems.
I think it's one of the biggest frustrations as well. I think a lot of the small SMEs and the small one-man bands would be better for apprentices to have that regular one-to-one, that regular continuity of
that mentorship,
communication. Yeah, exactly. But a lot of the money and the funding doesn't reach that far, and they can't afford that. Or it seems to be a lot of the problems. Whilst the larger employers,
I think there's a lot of ignorance, Dave, with sole traders. I don't think they realise the value of what they're losing out on.
I think they want more. They want more. They want to be paid to do it. I've seen a few people say, "I'll be paid to do it," and I was like, there is a benefit, and you are paid indirectly. But I think they don't just dig in and look into the advantages of apprenticeships as much as they should.
I mean, my decision to take on apprenticeship was a selfish decision. It was I was genuinely struggling to find the quality of electrician that I wanted to fill the roles in my business.
So you thought you'd mould your own?
Yeah, exactly. Because I was thinking, I'm worried about if I'm struggling now, what's it going to be like in 5 years, in 10 years, 15, 20 years? So if I can start to progress that, they may choose. I hope they choose to stay. But if they want to spread their wings, I'm going to support them 100%, right? But for me, it was about creating, and especially working in the railways, is that nuances and the things that come with it. It's very difficult to go to a domestic electrician or a new build commercial electrician and say, come into the railway world and learn.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff to take on board, and it's a different set of standards. Although they align a lot, there's a different set of standards. And for me, having an electrician that only from their apprenticeship had worked on rail, my God, I mean that is gold to me. Do you know what I mean? It's gold.
Oh wow, railway's so hard.
It's not hard. It's not hard, and it's not the electrical style is hard. It's all the other stuff. It's the track safety.
Rail sparks are the best. Shut up.
Still use their Allen keys.
Allen keys. Yeah. Listen, Dave. Now you have never done the test to separate all sparks, have you?
Sam, you went right up and then went, have you?
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know, man.
No, you haven't. So this is the quick-fire questions round with Sparky Ninja. And today it's sponsored by Toolsdown, the home of Soldermate and the multi-award-winning Calcard. Available for next-day delivery on Amazon, so go and check it out.
Is this the game that started in like episodes 3 or 4 or something?
No, it was much later than that.
Was it?
Yeah, I think.
What episode was you on? The first one, Dave?
I was on the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. I think it was the
Yes,
first guest.
Yes, she was.
One of my personal favourite ones, I think.
All right, mate.
No, I'll tell you why. I think Dave spoke some honest truths that was hard to say at that time. I won't go into it 'cause it's a long time ago, but I thought he called some governing bodies out, and I respected that then.
Oh, well, right now, I don't care.
No, but I just thought it's good. You know what I mean? Have you got
Before we get on to the controversial subjects,
He wants to play this. Right, what is it?
yes, right.
Well, I've heard these podcasts before, so I know you're right. I know the answer that you want me to say. Sure.
Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. And let me
Okay,
tell you, if you do get a question wrong, you'll be judged very harshly.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So, Power Tool brand.
Yeah.
Power Tool brand.
Okay. I was a DeWalt man.
So far, so
Going
good.
south.
I was a
Well,
DeWalt man.
going south, innit?
No,
Yeah.
good answer so far.
I like like Neil last week. I don't really have a collection of tools, and if I was to go out and buy some brand new stuff today, I'll probably use it 2 or 3 times, and I wouldn't break the bank.
Listen, just say an
Tomorrow
answer.
morning, you've got a major job on. You've got to go and get some power tools. What are you buying?
Okay, I'll probably just buy what's there. So let's just say, I'll stick with DeWalt because I've still got some of the batteries around if they still work.
No, that's the correct answer. No one is shitty Milwaukee. Right, okay.
No, Makita.
The problem with Milwaukee is everything's so red. I'll have to change everything.
Oh, it's
but this is it.
today, real wanky.
I just have to collect the set with that.
Yeah, exactly that. Right, next question.
Go on.
Cutters or croppers?
This is the only question that matters.
Fuck.
Side cutters or croppers?
Are those CK ones croppers? Those CKs with the purple handles?
Yes.
Yes.
Those.
Listen.
That is the right question. Right answer.
They're the ones I use.
Right, tea or coffee?
Well,
why is it so complicated?
I'm never.
for me, there's always
imagine going out for dinner with Sparky Ninja. I bet he's one of the person goes, I need to know exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, right. At work, coffee, because if it goes cold, because I'm so busy, I can still drink cold coffee. I can't drink cold tea.
Ooh,
If I'm sat down, I'll have tea.
What kind of savage have we got on this week?
It takes a lot of planning.
Oh, that's cancer.
Sam.
2 weeks
right,
off.
mate. All right. All right. If you're in a board and you're under the stairs, you're not coming out for whenever it's fucking finished, and that coffee can't come in, that tea can't come in with you. You get a coffee. Then when you're done, and you have that little shake it off and stretch your legs, it's still drinkable. It's a cold coffee. I can't drink cold tea.
Deep in these questions.
I don't know what's going on here.
Have you forgotten the next one?
You've blown quick-fire questions. Right. Work trousers or jeans?
Trousers.
Yes.
Day rate or price?
Day rate.
And favourite tester brand?
Oh, I'm gonna write down. I'm gonna write down what I think you may say.
Oh shit,
right.
man.
Yeah, you're on a chopping block here.
Define tester. NFT.
MFT.
Oh shit.
I can't even spell it while I'm trying to write. That should give you a clue.
Probably writing the same thing as me. I can't spell it either.
Mega.
Mega.
Oh, I went.
You're a Chivin, I knew.
Yeah.
You're at Mitrell.
He can't spell Matril.
I'm Northern.
I'm trying to be quick. I'm trying
I
to be
was
quick.
joking.
You can't spell the truth.
I like.
That must be vodka he's drinking.
Oh
He's
my god!
handwriting.
I was almost.
Can you see that box there? That's a
Yeah.
That's a Mitrell tester.
Mm.
That's a Mega tester. And I've got a Chevron new tester down here. But if I was to go out on the tools to, I know. Je veux I don't know.
Wait, hold on.
Really
But if I go on the tools tomorrow, I take the Mega because I work faster with the Mega.
Right, hold on. Why have you got a brand new Mega, a brand new other one? What's going on? Why have you got all these tools? What do you need them for?
No.
Well, actually, these are pat testers.
Oh, okay.
And these are MFTs. The MFTs I've just got. I don't know. Bought a new one, and I got gifted one. These pat testers are because I'm going to do some stuff on the 5th edition.
Nice.
So I've got a little.
When do we get big enough to get given free tests?
There's a sneaky Q-Tech hiding behind there and all.
No, talk about the 5th edition, right? We're talking about copper tea, yeah?
Do you want to move closer to the microphone?
Why don't...
I'm waiting for it to cut out.
Oh, don't. Honestly, it triggers me right up. It does. I can't believe it. It really gets on my nerves. Anyway, why don't these people think to change that? It should be made a new law that all reg changes should happen on April the 1st. That should be the law. Because that's when financial years go. So now I've got to
April
advise...
Fool's Day, I thought you
Day.
No, I've got to advise all my clients halfway through a financial year that the code of practice for the things we're charging for has changed. And that's just really crap. I only realised this week, I was like, I've now got to advise them and say, what do you want to do?
I mean, the public draft was out a lot earlier, so you could kind of give them a heads up. But no, you're right. It doesn't help you plan for your clients.
A bit of a selfish.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's a totally selfish reason.
I mean,
I nearly fell asleep about it as well.
City and Guilds haven't updated the qualification yet. They're updating that in November. So, things...
Is there an overlap on this? I don't know, actually.
It's just November 6th. They launched the new 2377. So they're basically just writing 3 or 4 more questions to go in the paper. That's about it, really. And then they'll relaunch it with a webinar.
Ninja, what is your opinion on... what is it? The Flex...
that's what I was
BSI Flex.
5672, whatever it is.
No,
have you had a butchers of it yet? It's BSI Flex 5762 or something like it is.
Yes, I've read it.
Come on, spill.
It's
Come on.
Obviously, it's mainly concerned with the findings of Judith and all these people who are thinking about risk of fire in dangerous installations such as high rise. So we can't push that as the sole indicator to develop a competence control mechanism if it doesn't consider things like electric shock or other risks of utilizing electricity. So it can't be used as the sole new mechanism to define or select competence. And if it leans or reaches onto the CPS structure, well, that doesn't work as it is. So we can't lean on the structure that doesn't currently work to actually control and determine competency. And, as it says right now, it defines, more dangerous installations being high rise, but that's obviously not defined and it may adjust. So at the moment, I've kind of concluded it's just a combination of good ideas and good intention. But I can't see it. I can't see it just going like that straight into practice. It's going to take a long time. I
do worry that the default has seemed to be to trust the schemes. And I'm like, well, where's the evidence to say that they're doing a good job? And I'm not calling anyone out particularly, just the facts of you don't really see many people that are happy to be with the schemes or,
Yeah. The problem is you say it a lot, we don't necessarily celebrate good workmanship. We don't really take photos of it and parade it around. And when we do see it, we don't all go, good show. We don't kind of celebrate that. We like to kind of look at the bad stuff and then look at who they're with and then moan about who they're with. And
yeah, it's a pet hate of mine. And I've been guilty in the past. I'm not pretending I ain't.
Yeah, it's not going to get anywhere with that. I chose a couple of years ago to kind of completely throw that away, that kind of mentality, and try to just promote good work and promote people who want to think positively and leave the others behind. That's it. I don't upload photos of good work because I don't do much actual physical
good work
these days. I don't. I take pretty pictures of other people's work when I'm doing thermals. I do inspections. I've taken some pictures of good installations that I've seen. There's the station, Gray's station working now is pretty smart. Near on Things Railway. But the CPS is being reimagined right now. They're looking obviously at they're looking at, well, the NIC have already kicked the short course idea, and so we're
And
all
the
gonna
NIC and NAPIT have as well, haven't they? To be fair, they have as well.
yeah. Well, I have more frustration with NAPIT because they have a habit of always finding a alternative method when it comes to training, and I have to literally go, that is shit, to them for them to then acknowledge, and then things suddenly to change a few weeks later. I've had to do that a few times, but
is that just maybe someone who's not not well enough equipped with the knowledge to understand what they're offering, or?
Well, they've got a new manager. The guy, I mean, I can't go into all the details of the guy who was there and where he's gone and all the background with it, and any other stuff that I know about what's been going on. But there was some necessary behaviours and stuff, and they're looking to change. Just like the NIC, we knew that when Emma was in, and then Paul Collins and that team were all about the marketing, the branding. John O'Neill's come back. He said, "No, let's pull this back. Let's go back to where we were in the late 80s, 90s, where we were a level, and the electricians wanted our badge." There are many still that wear the badge, proud of that badge because they remember what it meant.
I'm so proud of it. I'm proud to be. I really am.
And so they're trying to do that. I think one big issue right now is they've got this new thing to deal with, which is Felix going on the internet, talking to electricians who aren't them, and getting an audience and creating this issue. You've got the podcast, we've got the webinars, and we've got a lot of electricians are now talking amongst themselves instead of going straight through their
model
interpretations, models, or to quote one of them, alignment, that kind of thing. And so they have there's a lot more they've got. They're learning. I mean,
they are behind though. It frustrates me. I mean, I think NAPIT are leading the way in terms of public engagement, but I see they're miles behind. And
they've got the issue though. I think Darren's not doing the stuff anymore. Jake's there, and I think Jake needs some other person to kind of help him with the experience, to actually be confident in what's coming along. And these webinars that are coming out with the 18th edition Amendment 2, they've got to do something next year to prepare themselves. Because when we had the 18th edition, they did all the cinemas and all the popcorn and all that stuff. They're not going to be able to deliver that right now. They've got to develop a better team where they are. But
do you know what? I don't even know if it's that. Because I spoke to Jake the other week, and he's on the same wavelength as us in terms of having a confident conversation about queries and questions that people might have about the NIC. It's just not allowed. He has not been given the rein. Is my internet really bad? He's not been given the rein. He's not been given the rein to do that. And hopefully that's something that's going to change real soon. So as electricians who have issues, have someone to talk to about them, and they can sort of, I don't know, like fireside chats and stuff like that, being able to put out the flames. And I think that'd be really important for the NIC. I don't think they do that enough. I don't think any of the incumbent bodies, from the JIB right the way through to any of them really, I don't think any of them engage enough with in an age like we live in now, social media age. They should have a lot bigger presence and with engaging with people, and they just don't do that very well. None of them do. I think the best at the moment at doing it, reaching out, might be the IET. They're really trying.
Yeah, actually, I watched a webinar just on a harmonics and power quality with Mark, Jim Monkadalix, and Mr. Scone was on there last Friday. And normally these things go on for a bit of time, but normally at the end they go, Q&A, none, finished. But there's a good 20 minutes of Q&A on that, and I was quite impressed. There was quite a bit of chat. And normally these things, it's like I watched one the other day, and it says, "Any questions?" They're going, "No." It was like, oh god, Instagram. Hager went live randomly in the middle of the afternoon. Two guys from Hager were talking about the 18th edition DPC, and there was about 7 people watching them live. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll watch this, and I was like listening. But then any questions? Like, no, and they went off. I was like, oh, yeah. They're trying to use these platforms, but they're probably just not mastering them quite yet.
I think it breaks down because I think a lot of these things are generally planned, and they don't really hold the ability. I don't want to say knowledge because that's unfair, but they don't hold that ability to converse the regulations as well as they do to understand it. So if curveball questions come in, they tend to go, oh shit, I'm not quite sure where to take that. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of scripting.
Yes, that's probably the better way of putting it.
And that's understandable. These guys aren't on the tools, and they have limited resource, limited dialogue. I guess that's something that is quite unique with this kind of scenario, where we can just talk about what we've been up to, and we can do a little bit of technical talk as well.
Well, I think what we're trying to do is trying to bridge that. I mean, because what you guys do is very up there with the technical talk and all that, and it's got a huge market for it. But I think we're trying to bridge that gap in between, trying to maybe talk to the coal face a bit. I don't know if it's the right word
I think a lot of people that watch what we talk about, they'll come on to, let's say, for example, a Sparky Ninja podcast or an E5 webinar. They like what they're listening to, but they don't quite know what to say about it.
I don't say don't know what to say. Say like, don't fucking understand it.
They're interested in what's being said, but they don't feel that they can quite yet jump in, engage, and get what they want back. So many guys will come to me on Instagram and they'll ask me some questions. I had a guy this afternoon talk to me about, obviously he's trying to select, he's doing design, he's trying to decide about the selection of AFDDs. It's about lighting AFDDs, and he's looking at the current levels. And he's looked at the webinars, but he just wants to talk to me privately about it. And so, I'm all pally and sending the thumbs up emojis and wishing him the best with his design and stuff. But a lot of people don't quite know how to jump in and engage. But then there is that pool of people that just dive right in, and sometimes our podcasts go on for 3 or so hours.
I've been a bit guilty of
you came on to one. You came on as a panelist on one, didn't you?
Yeah, and to be fair, you treated me with that most respect. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I come back with these guys, and I was going, I really fucking enjoyed that. I must admit.
But the reason I enjoy that, Neil, is only because of those people in that room. Really, because you're saying stuff, and then they're there, and and then you bring them into the room. And if you do that, then it goes on a bit longer, but it's a much more enjoyable experience than you just saying stuff and then finishing.
It's such a deal. I mean, I watched the first one. So for those that are listening or watching, we're talking about the coding webinars, Sparky.
Yeah, the coding ones. Yeah.
And I watched the first one, and I took part in the second one, and the difference was night and day. When I say I watched the first one, sorry, I watched it after the fact on YouTube. Yeah. So I didn't get that interactive feeling, but when you watch it on YouTube, it was electric. I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I really feel like if you're going to go down that route, I feel like it's a winner, a real winner.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to. I announced a couple of days ago and yesterday that we've got November. I'm going to put on a couple of things, and we're going to talk to electricians about DPC and commenting.
What's DPC?
The draft for public comment, Sam. Sorry.
All right.
Okay.
Sam, you would hate to work on the railways because it's full of free letter acronyms.
All right. The amendment to public drafts is obviously open now until beginning of December.
DPC. Who knows what DPC means? I feel like you're going to deliver.
Mark, did you know what DPC is?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So
but you two are boffins. I'm not. I'm a dud.
We'll keep it simple.
That's the level we've got to operate.
No, I'm going to keep it simple.
Okay. But
keep it simple, stupid.
But this is what I'm saying, right, Sam? Right? There are people who want to understand what the industry wants them to do in the next 5 years or so, in 2022, then 2023 when this is in. But you may want to have something to say on this. You may want to say something about no risk assessment on RCDs, only A-type RCDs, no AC anymore, AFDDs. But you might not know how to comment it. And so we're going to do some stuff, and we're going to actually talk about how to comment and how to write it.
I think it's a great idea.
I do it. I'll tell you how I do it. I say to Mark,
shouting, exclamation marks. I don't understand.
You tweet him,
typing like that.
I just asked Mark to do it for me.
Yeah. Then do that.
Do that in the room.
Do that though.
What I like about this is that the creation of the buzz, for want of a better word, the creation of the interest to comment. I think is exciting. I think it's showing that people actually give a shit about the industry and give a shit about which direction it goes. And you know what? It's on BSI and it's on the IET and it's on all the committees to really listen. If they really care, they've got to listen. And you know what? You may dismiss 90% of the comments, 95% of them, but listen to them and understand where the industry, because if people are taking the time to read and comment, they deserve to be listened to.
You're already in your last video, you talked at length about AFDDs, costs, and a lot of guys listening to last week might also want to, offer an opinion, and the platform is there.
Do you want to hear an opinion from last week?
Go on then.
I'll tell you an opinion from last week. Brilliant. Love listening to you guys. This is my new segment. It's called Triggered.
Oh, you're triggered. Okay.
Brilliant. Love listening to you guys. Sam is a Carl Pilkington of the group.
You listen
no,
well.
okay, is it? This is some bullshit.
Accurate,
and then what else is there? There's one about Spencer here. Spencer is like one of those toy cars outside a supermarket. You have to pop 50p in to get it working.
Your internet's crap, by the way.
It's just, at 1:13, Sam is falling asleep.
The Village Idiot one's the best. Let's hear that one.
What? I can't find it, bro.
It's on there.
Where? What?
Maybe it was one of the clips. There was a comment about you being.
I think it's clips. Yeah, apparently I'm the Village Idiot. Listen,
you say apparently like apparently. Anyone in here is going to argue.
You lot are out of order. That's all I'm going to say.
Right, in this natural break, shall we do it?
What?
So, well, I'm hoping Sparky Ninja knows what we're about to do. We are about to go and do the tool dash. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, yeah.
3, 2, 1. Sam, you staying?
Oh, well, I'll have to, won't I?
Mark, where are you going, Mark? Come back. I didn't say go.
Wait, did you see his little northern legs? Them little northern legs sort of scribbling around.
All right, while we go to tool dash,
it looks like he's got 8 legs moving at once.
Like Spider-Man. While we go to the tool dash, Sam is going to check his internet connection. Go.
Yes, so actually today I have probably got coronavirus. I feel very ill. It's going to be a rough night as well. Outside of that, Mark's got really odd northern little legs. Neil looks like he's very unkept. And Ninja's trying to ignore my silly comments.
You're every word, but I'm just going around my desk.
Basically, I spend this time mocking anyone else in the room. Oh, here he is. Here comes the Bigfoot. He's back.
Have I got
little legs.
Reaction tonight, or is it something else you've moaned at about me for?
Little legs. Little northern legs.
I just call my old boss little legs. Right.
I was really mean last week about the beetle.
So you thought you'd bring it back up?
I thought, well, little legs. I thought he's got the set.
So. He has got like, abnormally small fingers. They're not normal. Look.
It's my huge upper body. What can I say? The hands look small in proportion.
Right. So top left on my screen is Mark Allison, also known as the Head.
Yes.
Go.
I've been a little bit naughty this week. I brought a pair of tools because I use them together. So it's these two. Team Red, Milwaukee, because they are the best. And they've got the soldering iron and the heat gun. So if you're doing your strip
fire.
Bit of soldering, and then your heat sleeve over them when you're doing your under cabinet lighting and such.
Battery, are they?
Yes.
No, they're not. They're plug-in, you idiot. Of course they're battery. They've got batteries hanging off the bottom of them.
Both come with an Allen key, because obviously all power tools Neil uses has Allen keys. So you get a free Allen key with everyone.
You know what? Each week goes on. Each week I go on, I realise how long I've been out the tools. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I knew this thing was coming up, right? And I was like, right, where's my tools?
It's
And I was
embarrassing, Dave. Honestly, it's
Where are my
terrible.
tools? And I looked in the garage, tools in there, and I asked my wife, where are my tools? She went, oh, they're above the kitchen units, and then they've been boxed in. So I got screwdrivers and hammers. She shucks them up there.
Did you give it a look?
What? I didn't know that. So.
I've actually got a blinded one this week. I got a blinded one. I bought a new tool, so I'm so happy.
Oh yeah. Well, then.
No. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's me now.
Who's
Okay,
next?
I'll go now. Right.
I've got a tool as well. But
Okay. That's the same every week, Sam.
Please let it need an Allen key.
Mitral. Is there a mega in there or something? Oh god.
This is all under the same kit. So,
did you see that post I put on Instagram? Or
I don't really do Instagram a lot.
Twitter. Did you see the Mitral display?
Yes, I saw that.
Yes, I did
That's a
see
wicked
that.
stand.
Are you making that or something?
No, so I've got a contract to install EV chargers. Never done any before. So I purchased the new MI 3152 Tesla.
Oh, that's the entry level one, isn't it?
I don't know what it is, but
Yeah. It's a throwaway one.
you're not getting me biting, Sam. You're not getting me biting. But it's got all the leads, as you would expect. But, right, that's not the interesting bit. So that's the main bag. What it come with, which I was really impressed with, what I thought was a nice touch. It's got another bag full of leads. It's got this ready to go.
Well, Allen keys, nice.
All these, all ready to go to do that, to do your RA testing.
That should be part of it, though, shouldn't it? Having that.
I don't remember ever buying a test kit to come with that. I might be wrong.
No, you normally would have to pay extra, but if it's if it's a wrapped up EV kit, they probably have to throw that in now.
And then the PS. You ready for this, Dave?
Right.
An EV box. So part of your EV compliance testing is that you have to replicate an EV, and obviously you can't test an EV until you plug it in. So that is I think, a Type 2.
Why does that look like it was? Why does that look like it was made in the Soviet era? Like, who has them twisty knobs on things these days?
Well, that's the
That
set.
is the Eastern European manufacturing at its finest, bro.
So you've got your Type 2, which that's a Type 2 AC connector, which is like your Zappy. Mine is your Zappy will be a Type 2 connector like that. And then you can set your level of ampage for your overcurrent protected device on one, and on this is your CP state. So you'd have this will mimic EV not connected, EV connected but not charging, EV connected and charging, and the last one will replicate a fault with the EV, and it will make sure that your EV smart charger or even dumb charger is doing what it should be in them states. That's an awesome bit of kit. I was really pleased with that. And it all comes in nice kits.
And
That's my tool, and it's probably the best tool ever done on Tool Dash.
Might be the most.
Don't sound too enthusiastic, Dave.
It's definitely the best one you've done. Definitely the best one you've done.
I'm still waiting for the week when I can use this. Might check if your plug is the correct size card. One day.
No one ever has used that.
And I've got these here and all.
They're any good. I had a guy contact me about those months ago, and I said, yeah, put it on Facebook. Looks like those sprockets are doing quite well.
Yeah, I think so. I went on the website, they're all sold out. Yeah. Such a simple idea, but yeah. But
some of the best ideas are simple ones, though, aren't they? But they're often by people that know about the problems.
Yeah, he's a Sparky. He's a competitor of mine, actually.
Oh, is he? No.
Yeah. Go on, Samuel.
No. All right. Wait there.
Good time.
Wait there.
Oh, go on. While he's going, then go on, Dave.
Okay. Well, I've got a thermal camera.
I knew you was going to bring a thermal camera.
I've got a thermal camera here. This is a Fleur C2. It's a low-end, small resolution one, but I always suggested that electricians would have this on myself, just going around sites, so that I would always have it for the on-the-spot checks. I've got the Klein one. So the Klein thermal camera, which I was sent.
Yeah, but listen.
But It's
trying to make a living here.
It's a good resolution for a small imager, and you know, I'm really trying to kind of get some material out there about the differences between qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis, and this is affordable, and all Sparks should be able to afford thermal imaging for an on-the-spot check. It's a difference between doing a survey. A survey is when you're going to use a higher end resolution camera and you're going to look at all the little pixels. And I'm trying to just put some material out there to show the differences between the two. But this is the little climber. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at me. And then there's the survey one.
Oof.
The
That's got some zeros after it, hasn't it, Dave?
Flurry 95. This is over 10,000.
Wait, where do we get some £10,000 cameras?
Not gifted, but yeah. This is the Flurry 95. This is the one that majority of the images I put on the social media will be taken with. It's the ones I do surveys with.
So I want to delve down. If we got some, I want to delve down if that's all right, Dave. Because I've bought all my guys the phone plug-in one,
the Fleur one,
which I think, like you say, should become a toolbox item.
Yeah. If you've got a Spark working near panels, walking around, you can just go like that, and you can see issues that are there already.
Yep.
Without actually having to get in there, having to get in contact, much safer, and also probably finding things you wouldn't normally look at.
So for those that don't know, and I imagine this is not spoken about a lot, so there is a standard called SFG20. Have you ever heard of that standard? Services Facility Group 20, which is a maintenance standard that basically it covers everything from fire alarms, mechanical and electrical. And in this standard, Net-a-Rail are adopting this standard for their how they want their electrical systems maintained.
The definitive standard for building maintenance.
Yeah. And in that standard, almost uniquely on electrical stuff, includes thermal imaging surveys.
It's not new, is it, though? I mean, I've worked with companies in food production, in manufacturing, and one of my main clients is a food manufacturer that's got 50 factories around the UK. Now, they're all independent brands in one larger business. So the independent brands will have their own funded EICRs, and then they'll have some thermal cameras carried out. But then the central group will ask me then to do a group-sponsored business-wide survey for fire risk. Companies like Coca-Cola, Walkers, all these companies, you go to their control panels, there's a thermal image in there under standard operating conditions. So as an engineer, you go in routinely, you just take an image and you can go, and you can look.
Yeah.
It's just simple looking at those.
And I think if I recall, the Fleur one, is that what you called it? The Fleur one? It's
the Fleur one, the Fleur
300
one Pro.
quid, 350, something like
about
that.
350.
Awesome bit of kit.
This I think is something like, it's around that 450 mark. These are around about the same. You know, for less than 600 quid, you can get a camera that an electrician going around, or even apprentice just doing routine things, can just have it on there. And if there's an opportunity where a panel has been removed or access to an area has been given, then it's a holistic purpose, because you're then going to use it for that. You're not going to get in there, you're not going to touch it, but you're just going to take that they call it the sixth sense, Fleur do. That's their term. And it really is. I mean, I put up a lot of images. I mean, I put up an image, and a lot of electricians will put up their images of cables that are basically dead. They're really, really, really hot. That's what electricians will do. They'll find phase imbalances. They'll find overloads. With surveys, I'll look more at the actual thermal gradients and the trends to actually, and the load patterns. So like I would back this up with the Fleur would be the Fluke clamp meter, or they delivered it late, the Fleur clamp meter. And this actually connects to this, so I can get the amps on the image.
That's a lovely little touch. That is. It's all about packaging it and giving it as much information under one photo as you possibly can to the client.
So I'll put that around phase conductors, and then I'll have that meter link connected to this, and I'll take an image of the phase with the amps on the image instead of me having to record it, log it, or anything like that.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So in terms of what I mean, that's a heavy priced item.
Oh, gotcha.
Is the value for you there in that camera? Do you see $9.5 grand's worth of extra value in that camera?
I see more value in training first, doing proper level 1, level 2 ITC registered or other certified training, and then hire the camera.
Right. Okay.
So the training is like the level 1 training is a week. ITC is the company I trained with, but it's basically there's a PCN register of personnel. You can always just do a little basic course, but you can go on the register. That is $2,000 for the week, and then level 2, which is level 1, is designed for you to be able to take an image and create a report. Level 2 is where you then compile the report and you kind of get the feedback and the opinion, the indemnity part to your client.
Right,
level 3 is where you
what you're doing.
and level 3 is where you more manage the whole shaboom kind of thing. I would invest in training first, hire a camera, and if you're getting steady business, then obviously you'll have repeat business because you're good at it because of your training. Then invest in the camera, because a lot of people buy the camera and it stays under the desk.
Yeah.
It doesn't earn the money.
I mean, I've got a $2,000 camera. I won't say the name of it, but it's and the Fleurs outperform that in my opinion in terms of quality.
I mean,
and I just in my head I can't get rid. I think what's going on here?
Fluke are great. Other companies are now getting into the industry. We've got Mega's little one. We've got Klein, and all sorts of companies now. Mitrell. Those are bringing cameras, but what they're doing is they're bringing the bottom end. So these are for the guys doing spot tests, spot checks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's two separate sides of that. So everyone should access one of these and just get used to the idea of thermal imaging. But then they should go on proper training if they want to go down the avenue of doing proper surveys.
Yeah, but to be fair, you've done quite a decent YouTube video on it, haven't you?
I did because again, a lot of guys will get the camera and they'll see things like reflective apparent temperature, emissivity, and it's not hard to understand if you just go through that bit of kitchen physics, as I call it, about understanding how radiation works, and about understanding how the germanium lens and lens transfer and reflectivity and all that crap that's in the video.
This is really important for people who are listening and watching to understand that, because we live in a point and shoot society where I'll pick up a camera, point and shoot, it tells me what I want. But this,
it does.
As your video's into a lot more detail, it doesn't work like that in this situation. And when I watched your video, I was like, oh, okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? I really don't understand how this fucking shit works. And,
I mean, you can point this at plant and machinery, but if you've got a very low emissivity, then you're going to be reflecting a lot of temperature off of the room, and it'll look cooler than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's that little learning curve for you to competently interpret the image. But for any electrician, though, if you focus on the insulation and the plastics, these are the surfaces of higher emissivity. Don't look at the shiny stuff. Low emissivity lies is another FLIR term. If you focus on the insulating materials, they'll give you the higher values, the higher accuracies, and they'll give you the true representation.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Cat S62? Because we use the Cat S61. It's a smartphone and
phone.
FLIR. Yeah, smartphone and FLIR lens combined. So we all have the Cat S61. But the S62 looks pretty decent.
I had the S60, I think, which was like the first one.
That was really basic.
I was really into the idea of it, but the phone part of it was too restrictive.
We've got to go back a little bit, and you two are talking about things that I ain't got. What are you talking about?
It's an Android phone by Cat that's got a FLIR lens in, a bit like this little lens.
I think the most important question is here at the moment: have you ever taken it to a so-called haunted house and looked for ghosts or EVP type stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up! Yeah. Why do you give him validation? Why do you give him validation?
Did you see?
I don't believe any of that stuff, but I went with a mate.
I'm so happy right there.
That's why I want it. That's why I want one.
Yeah, we saw some funny shapes. We saw some funny shapes on the wall, and about half an hour later, the shapes changed in temperature very significantly. I still don't believe any of it.
I need to do that. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm going to have a go at that.
I need to get one of them just for that.
Just hire a camera for a weekend, though.
No, listen, who wants to see my tool?
I think that is probably the longest tool discussion ever in the history of Monday Club, which is brilliant. So, Sam, you better be bringing some shit. You better be bringing something.
It's been on a tool marathon, hasn't it? Bloody hell.
Listen. This is because I've got Corona. I've invested in something excellent.
I thought he's already got away for it. What's he got away for?
Where are you going?
How big is this thing? This
is in honour of our guest.
What is that?
Oh, dear.
This is my COVID mask
The
I
COVID
thought,
mask.
I thought it was a
from the Shinobi Guild
I thought it was a hockey
of samurais
goalkeeper's
and
mask.
ninjas.
I've actually got these ones made up, but they just look like jock straps.
Oh,
See?
I'm so
On
annoyed
brand.
how good that is. I'm so annoyed how good that is.
So yeah, so I thought in
Wear
honour
it
of
on
our
the-
guest,
Do you wear
I
it on the
will
bus,
wear-
Sam?
Huh?
Wear it on the bus?
Wear it everywhere.
On the
Keep
bike?
it arrested
He is
for
a bus
some reason,
wanker.
But do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And also, it covers your mouth, which is always a bonus.
Hey, bro.
So, is that seriously your tool?
Yeah, man.
I guess it's PPE.
Yes.
It's
For everyone
exactly
else
that.
around him.
Oh, mate, it gets hot real quick. I was sitting over there for about 10 minutes listening to you lot bore on about flares and stuff, and I was like sitting there thinking,
Fleers.
"Wait a minute."
You was listening to us talk about fleers.
Please.
He's caught the northern, hasn't he? That's what's
That's what I
happened.
thought, yes.
Rude.
Mark, you've had an interesting week, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had quite a bit going on this week.
So, those pictures you sent in some interesting properties up. Where are you working?
Up in Scarborough, we've got a complex of 8 apartments that we're doing up. So up on the S-Plan in Scarborough, if anyone's familiar with up there. You guys won't be, but
Mark,
Ninja,
hold on a
maybe?
sec, mate.
Maybe,
Hold
yeah.
on. Should we get the subtitles?
yeah, you fire them up,
What's
Sam.
that
This
saying?
is it, innit? God, Jesus. Can't go a week without you coming up with that, can we? So yeah, we're doing that. There's
To be
lots of
fair, it's your
interest-
fault. You're the one that talks like it.
Yeah, cheers. All sorts of interesting curving and fittings around the places that we've got to work
Interesting
around
what?
and
Coving, I think. it was.
coving.
Coving. Yeah.
It Dave's on it now. Look.
Work around. So I've been trying to get some content. We were talking about earlier about the content that's going out there and show some good work. Obviously, I can't show my own, so I'm videoing Matthews.
You're what?
And
Stop it,
I-
Sam.
that's the trick.
Stop it.
so he's busy on that one at the moment, and yeah, we're going to be there for a couple of months. To be truthful, it's quite a big job.
So in terms
Eight
of
properties, was it?
Yeah, so there's 8 apartments across 3 buildings.
Right.
They're
This
Victorian,
kind-
aren't
Yeah, Victorian. They all kind of neighbour onto each other. Lovely view out over Scarborough. So we've got that to navigate. And yeah, just with the apprentice one-to-one thing again. So I was counting it up actually before we came on. Since Friday, we've had 94 guys getting in touch.
So is this
17 of them speaking to employers.
Sorry, mate.
Wow.
So you said because with the apprentice one thing, it seemed to take a little bit of a I don't want to say dive, but sort of calm down a bit.
Yeah, I took
And has
that
that
as a
gone back up
positive.
again now?
It has. I took that as a positive, thinking that it's maybe settling down a bit,
If
because
find
the
that-
message was still getting out there. But
Yeah.
definitely this last week, my phone has been off the hook with messages and Instagram DMs.
Well, a lot of people are still struggling though, because a lot of people are losing their jobs because of lockdowns and all these things.
Yeah, and that's something we do have to be mindful of when we're on about encouraging domestic sole trading electricians to employ apprentices. It's harsh and tough out there at the minute, and we do have to realise that it's a big commitment to take somebody on into an apprenticeship. So anybody who is doing that, full credit to them. There's loads of guys there looking for work still right now. So if you are in a position to provide somebody with a job,
It is rough out there.
it is. It's
rough out
really.
Well,
I mean,
just tonight before lockdown, I don't know if you all heard that Boris Johnson's latest. So obviously, for
Yeah,
those-
that's kind of why I was late.
we're a week behind everyone. Obviously, since it was last week, if you're listening now, and it's like they're to extend the furlough into November to 2/3, I think, of people's money, and
2/3, yeah.
it's really not looking like it. I mean, we're at a stage now where we have more people in hospital, or the same level of people in hospital now than we did just before lockdown. It's really worrying.
Yeah, I mean, I discussed this over dinner with my wife, and I got 4 boys, 3 go to school, and in those classes, they're all the classes are bubbles, but in those classes, they're in there with 25 other kids. So that's technically a bubble of 75 people my house shares with, and they've got families. So my little bubble is actually technically 75 families. So, but they won't take
bit of
school
nonsense,
out
isn't it?
because but the problem is they won't take school out because that's when you're going completely where we were before, and they don't want the rift that's going to come with that.
I'll be honest with my daughter. She's 18 months. I would say that on a very small scale, she suffered social suffered from not having the social interaction with other kids quite
little
significantly.
playgroups.
Yeah, playgroups and stuff like that. So we've actually put her into a playgroup now. There's one around the corner that's really good with the whole COVID thing, but it's the knock-on effect in schools that we're not really going to know the full fallout for probably 10 years. There's a lot of kids that have missed 6 months of school, and it's. You're not learning via your computer. Some kids can, but many won't be. And I think it's just a very sad situation. And I definitely don't want it to go back into lockdown.
I think they're trying to avoid that at all costs. I think
it's the last straw, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it'll go back to nationwide lockdown. There'll be small. I think Liverpool's in quite a poor place at the moment. I don't think they're looking too healthy up there. But hopefully, sorry, mate, go on.
I was just going to say I've seen the whole range of it across my kids because obviously the age from 4 years old to 22, so they all still live at home with me. And, you know, Matthew's had his social life restricted massively. Nathan's been going off to university, sent back home, back to university. Jack's absolutely loved it. So he's 9 years old. He thinks lockdown's brilliant, staying at home, playing Fortnite all the time with no schoolwork. And then Isabel missing all her mates. And like you say, with the social development, you worry about it, don't you?
Yeah,
not getting that interaction. And I think that maybe has affected her a little bit. So, you know, we're not going to know how this is going to play out for maybe a couple of years, what the long-time effects might be.
It's funny that we look at it now, and I'm thankful for during this time. You sort of look at your kids and you think, I don't want them to rely on social media, but you have something like this, you go, thank God social media is around for them to at least interact at some level. Can you imagine this happened if we was 10? No internet, no phone.
We'd be knocking down fences.
You know, parents, there'll be kids like lying on the street, their parents just killed them. You know what I mean? Like, I've had nothing, I can't take it anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, because you think, like, at 10, like, I'm 38, at 10, I don't think, like, things like Super Nintendo were about. Oh, no, not even the Nintendo.
I'm 38 and I had the NES.
Well, straight away, we don't get on because I was a Sega man. Yeah. Sega Mega Drive.
I had a Mega Drive. I didn't have a Master System, so I had NES, Super Nintendo. That was kind of my brother had that side. I had the Sega side.
But you wear a Sonic T-shirt. How can you just turn your back on Sonic like that and go with a SNES?
I went on my back on Sonic. It's fine.
No,
Sonic.
GoldenEye beats everything. So shut up.
Yeah, but that's a bit later on.
On the N64.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the knee serpent, you can just get on one knee and crawl around staying on one knee and shoot people in the dick. Classic.
See, the ninja tactics were early on.
I won every time.
But and before that, it was Mario Kart.
Mario Kart was the one. Yeah.
Mario Kart was the one. What was it? The ghost one, the haunted one. That was a track.
Rainbow Road was always a struggle.
The ghost one, you had to be Cooper Trooper on that one.
Did you ever have that gun with a duck hunt game?
Yes.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Who didn't have that? Listen, Ninja.
Yo.
Did you ever see Weird Science as a youngster?
I did, but I didn't actually kind of focus on it. It was on, but I didn't kind of like...
What are you talking about?
Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah, good movie.
These two never saw Weird Science
What was the movie with Eddie Murphy?
Your microphone's gone quiet again. What
was the movie with Eddie Murphy? The Golden Child. Remember that one?
No, it wasn't Eddie Murphy. Hold on.
Was Eddie Murphy?
They had to spend all that money or something. Spend like...
It wasn't Eddie Murphy.
Millions.
That was...
Brewster's Millions.
No, it was The Golden Child. It's Eddie Murphy.
Golden Child. Don't know.
Oh, no one's seen your boring movie, man.
He was all interested until you realised he was wrong about being Eddie Murphy not being there. Anyway, listen, one last thing before we go. I've got has Beck been in touch for his prize? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, so he wants his prize, is he?
Yeah, he's done. It's done. It's gone.
Oh, sorry, Joe Rogan. You lose. What can you do about it?
Joe Rogan?
Robinson.
Joe Robinson.
Way too many beers.
Are you talking to Joe Rogan? How have you got that number, Neil?
I don't know.
I know, I'm very jealous.
Have we got any other... We've got no other competitions going live, have we?
No, not this week. I ain't got nothing to give away, mate.
Well, no, but have we got one to announce? The laser.
Week, you lunatic.
Winners.
I've already... Well, I should have posted it today. I ain't done the video yet.
Who's the winner?
Oh, mate.
I don't even remember. I don't even remember the competition.
It was for the laser, brother, and it was the darts, and then Nick Bundy. Oh, you can't remember?
Oh, right, we've got it sorted then. So, are we all done? Anyone else bring to the table?
Yeah. Well, have you asked our guest?
It's an open question.
No, I've been watching these. I've found them to be quite enjoyable. What is the plan for the Monday Club? Is it to kind of try to bring more people to kind of chat on this stuff, to look at things, or is it just any kind of thing goes? What's the plan?
I think it's anything goes within reason. Obviously, I think
there'll be no would you rather questions.
there'll be no would you rather questions. No, but I think what we're trying to do is go back to sort of what podcasting is generically, and that's people with a common theme just talking and shit, and see where it goes. There's no sort of agenda. There's no. I really want, when I'm wrong about something, I want people to come and tell me I'm wrong. I want to learn. I want to improve. And I hope everyone in this room feels the same way. So yeah,
it's kind of one of the reasons I slowed down with my one, because my podcast was just me talking, and then you kind of get the verbal diarrhea kind of at that point. But obviously, when I started doing it with the other lads and stuff, it's a lot easier where you can just bounce off. A lot more comfortable.
I think that's what we want, and I don't want it to be turned into something where. And I'm sorry, when I say we don't want it to turn into something that is clashing with anything or upsetting anyone. We want to just try and create something that we're all a little bit proud of. I mean, I don't really care if I change anyone's mind, but if people turn up and they get something from it, I'm happy about that, you know. But yeah.
It's for me, from my point of view, there is no agenda. It's just, well, there's a core team that we all talk all the time, and
I bet every podcast starts like that. I bet it's the same with you, Dave.
Yeah,
like,
and then we
talk. You think, hang on, someone might enjoy this. Yeah,
hit the button.
Yeah, and it's just fun. There's a bit of banter. It's trying to make it. I don't know what it is. We just have a laugh.
I think ultimately what we want is to try and just bring that, to try and bring something to that sort of coal-faced working class Sparks. And
sure not.
No, I'm not. I listen. That's why. But listen, that's why it's important to bring everyone else in and go. Look, we're trying to cover everything.
But again, flipping on the side of this, I mean, discussions you've had last week with AFTDs and with metallics, different metals and stuff. It's good. It's good, for some people, because it's not BS, blah, 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 which a lot of our stuff would be. There's a lot of honest opinion about that, and I think that's pretty good. And I've actually been kind of laughing along to many of these.
Well, I'm glad you sort of I'm glad you're enjoying it, and this is what we want. Yeah. We just want to create.
It's a bit.
I'll tell you what. If I can sum it up in a sentence, we want to create something where some people are not afraid to feel stupid. And just create something where they can come in and go, other people are talking about the things we talk about on site.
And it's quite hard to be as stupid as me.
But you know what I mean? It's like dissimilar metals. I've never really. I thought
if you say dissimilar metals, you kind of think, well, no, I've not seen that exact thing. But then when obviously Spencer talks about erosion, you think, oh, okay, I've seen that a lot.
Exactly. And as soon as you said about the SWA glands, and I thought, I've seen that so many times where the eighth of an inch around an SWA gland is corroded. I've seen it loads of times.
It's true.
And I sort of, so that's, I took away and yeah, just try and create something that's light-hearted, a site welfare cabin recorded on YouTube.
Essentially. But yeah, there's no agenda. There's no nothing. We're just four Sparkies having a laugh. Mainly me mocking everyone, and just having a laugh.
How do other people come on? What's the? Is it just like?
Man, just reach out. Honestly, there is no one who's not welcome on this this thing, and as long as you guys treated me with the utmost respect on when you invited me on, and that's what we.
To be fair, Neil, you were the right person for it, weren't you?
Well, it's kind of you to say that, and I just wanted to respect the brand, and I wanted to respect, and I went on there with fully knowing that, and we want to offer that to anyone else. we want you to, we will respect people that come on, and all we ask is you respect the show when you come on. You know what I mean? It's just not. There's a lot of shit that goes on, and it needs to stop. It fucking just needs to stop.
It's social media, man.
We're all guilty of it, and
the other day, me and Neil had maybe a 24-hour argument. Neil acted like a baby the entire time and wouldn't pick up the phone. He only wanted to do it via text.
I don't argue.
That's why it went on for 24 hours.
I've done that a few times, to be fair.
I just can't. But I can't. I don't want to argue in front of my child, in front of my kids, and all that.
Oh, that old boring excuse.
No, I'm a big believer in if I don't want to talk, I just won't pick up the phone. You know, sometimes.
And we all have bad days, and we all have had bad weeks. And I've said this many times. I've had bad months, for fuck's sake. I've had bad quarters. You know, before Christmas last year, I really hit a down point in terms of my business. Not in terms of what we was doing, but in terms of where my head was at. I couldn't answer the phone. Emails was like a struggle, you know. And we shut down for the first time ever in 10 years. We shut down for 2 weeks at Christmas, and it's the best thing I've ever done. And I will make sure I shut down every Christmas now.
Times like this with COVID give me a lot of perspective, because there are so many people going through issues, obviously, on top of their other issues, and like they'll ask me for some help or some opinions, and I'll give them some help or some opinion, and then they'll come back and they'll just peel the onion a bit more, and then you go, and you realise what actually they've got going on. And it kind of makes you just assess what you got going on yourself and what other people are trying to cope with.
But also, a lot of people everyone's worried about putting a front on as well, and that's not a dig at anyone. It's like, you know what? No one wants to look like the vulnerable person, and we've all been there. I've been really vulnerable. I'm sure everyone in this room has been vulnerable, right? And sometimes social media, you feel like you need to put that front on. Nothing can bother me, and sometimes that gives you a false sense of, I don't know, machoism or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And I've been guilty of that so many times.
It's just the same as me. It's media. It's the same with any media. Is you put yourself out in your best. Because the first thing you think about is, how do I look and how does this come across? And a lot of people then obviously they go quiet, and we've had a couple of lads go a bit quiet lately, and we've been messaging them, and they've got, a couple of guys have got some real issues going on. And when you talk to people regularly, then you realise they just stop talking to you, or they just stop interacting. And you then reapproach them, and that's I've had a few just past couple of weeks going through PTSD and all sorts of things.
It's rough out there. It's certainly, everyone's got problems, and like you say, COVID is sort of another problem on top of problems. And even myself, someone as resilient and handsome and just well-rounded as me, has had massive struggles in the last month or so. Well, longer than that, but the last couple of months. And, it's just about, it caught up with me. And I think that it's starting to catch up with people. You might have got through the initial lockdown, but now you're starting to feel it. You're starting to feel it in your pocket. Things, it's tough out there.
You've gone through a great change, though, because you've now moved to a nice house. You're near the water. So you're feeling a lot better about that?
But yes and no. So, yes, it was brilliant moving down there. Best thing I've ever done. Greatest thing ever. But, mate, I come down here with probably a very incorrect mindset, and ended up, I'm back working, just took any job, and it's rough. It is rough. Money-wise, is rough at the moment. I'm actually the worst off I've ever been in terms of earning.
That's temporary. You're going to go back to try on your own?
I don't know yet. I've just had to take it easy for a bit for mental health reasons. You have to take it easy for a bit. Just, do life on life's terms, and that's it. But what I would say is, the struggles I've been through, there's a million people going through at the moment. If you can, reach out. Don't bottle it up, because that's the worst thing you can do. I'm not giving advice. That's the worst thing I did, was bottle it up. And then, it's not great. Your microphone's gone.
Yeah, your microphone's gone, Neil. Yeah. I mean, don't expect your mates online to have the answers, but sometimes offloading and letting those you network with understand a bit more about you might help you be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Around people.
Do you know what? I'm gonna say
right
this
at the end. His
every
microphone
week.
went off.
Yeah, I say this every week. That is the same setup as Joe Rogan uses. It's about 600 quid's worth of kit there, and every single week, this happens. It's just unbelievable.
I mean, I've got this little thing here. It's been here for years. It's working.
This is the very first microphone that we bought. It's Audio Technica 2100 USB, and mate, it's never failed me. But so, what's on the agenda for you? Like, I mean, with Sparky Ninja, obviously,
yeah,
I think it's fair to say you had a bit of a tough time during lockdown because obviously the carpet got pulled out from under you in terms of training and stuff like that.
Professionally, for myself feeding my wife and kids, it was horrible because all my training from April through all of it was cancelled. I had a couple of things. That's really rough. I had a couple of things I could do, and then I had one contract that I could take up, which was an offer to me that was I could do. But I did that, but I had some other time, and I could have done more for myself. But I had again. I'm not going to assume everybody who's listening knows about what I do, but I've got a few communities of thousands of people, and my inbox was just filling up and filling up and filling up and filling up. Furlough. Can we do this? Can we do this? And so I just thought, well, okay, look at the industry, and the industry wasn't doing anything at that time, and so it was doing nothing. We messaged a couple of companies about, can we help promote something you're going to do? So we can send them there. I got a lovely message from, I'm saying lovely in a cynical way, from Eddie from Voltman about promoting their stuff. And then they refused to even mention, they actually censored a guy from even mentioning me on one of his webinars on their site, which was fun. But no, so I put the webinars on.
And they're done fantastic.
I didn't know what was going to happen. Didn't know. It turned out that a lot of Sparks were off work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to expect that to always be available, but a lot of Sparks were off work. And so we did 2 a day, then we did 3 a day, and then I started doing a podcast. And then it grew and it grew and it grew. And then obviously we rolled through them again, and they grew because people had heard about them and wanted them to come in. And we delivered about 30 odd webinars. And off of that, others started doing that, so I can kind of calm down and get on with earning my own money.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of in the middle. I'm trying to obviously earn my own money from home so that I can carry on doing stuff as Sparky Ninja, because I can't subcontract training because I've got 2 courses on site in November, and obviously with the lockdowns, I don't know, they may cancel them just like that.
So, are you back on top? Are you thriving again, or are you on your way to it?
I could be thriving if I wanted to push just Sparky Ninja product. I could look at sponsor opportunities and stuff, but I'm trying just to keep the family fed and trying to do the honest work, because a lot of people expect what I do to not be completely monetized and try to be equal, right? So I'm trying as long as I can. There will be a point though where I'm going to have to say, right, for me to carry on doing this, I'm either going to have to nut up and shut up, or I'm going to have to kick it. So I'm either going to take sponsors to then fund someone to develop the rest of this thing, or I'm going to have to kick it and then get on with working full time.
I bet you can hear me now, can't you?
I can bloody hear you now, yeah. Yay.
I've just found out what it is.
What? Cable?
No, there's a Zoom tick box that automatically adjusts mic volume. So I unticked it. What was that? Sorry.
But that brings us to the end of the podcast. And I was hoping to close out without Neil's microphone on. But listen,
huge thank you.
It's been really good to have you on. I'm really pleased to have had you on.
Yeah.
And to wear my ninja mask. Neil, Mark?
No, I think it's I think there's a few people that will appreciate it. So I'm really happy. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the open invitation.
Yeah, no worries, guys. We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah. Marcus?
Yeah, nice chatting, and it beats not doing anything like last Monday. The only reason I come on these things is my family go out on a Monday night. I've got nothing else to do, so I come and talk with these idiots and listen to them rambling.
All right, on that note, see you later, everyone. Ta-da.
Bye bye.
Your microphone is so pants.
Goodbye.